Good morning, everyone. So it's Sunday morning, and here's a motor to completely blow your head, and I think it's probably something simple. So it's a Vauxhall Zafira C 2016, the 1.4 engine code LUJ Lima Uniform Juliet. So new engine fitted, as I said. Car starts and runs fine, but we're getting codes. So put that off. So here is the codes. Intake air temperature sensor number 2 circuit high voltage. Turbocharger boost sensor performance. Sorry, here's the code numbers. P0098, a P0236, a P0237 turbocharger boost sensor circuit low voltage, and a P0237 turbocharger boost sensor circuit low. So I think I'm right in saying this is the turbocharger boost pressure sensor on the intake manifold. So I think this is at this side is pin 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So pin 1, I'll show you the scope. Go to pin 1 first of all. So you can see there we've got 12 volts. That's good. I'll go into pin 2. Pin 2 says it's also got 12 volts. Now, I've been pinning it this all morning, and sometimes you get a duty cycle and other times you don't. So let me see if I'm just on the scope at the moment. I'm on the graphing multimeter. Let's go into the lab scope. So we've got nothing there at the moment. Pin 3 is a ground. So let me see. Well, that is a ground, and I've tested that with my test light, so that's good. And then pin 4, I think, is the air intake temperature. So you can see that's reading 1.92 volts. But this is a confusing thing. When I go into my live data, it's showing as minus 40 on that number 2. Let's see. Induction data, air boost pressure 101 kilopascals, so that would be atmospheric. Boost pressure is reading 0. Actually, not showing you temperatures on this one. Let's just go to engine data. Minus 40. See that there, minus 40. And I've tried doing the bypass test on this one, like grounding it out and make it go high, but it does not change. So as the default strategy of the PCM, when it sees a problem, it just makes it minus 40 and you can't do the bypass test. I am not sure. The other one I was complaining about is the O2 heater circuit, and that's it. It's not on number 1. Now I cut the wires there at the sensor side. Now this has got a permanent ground, but I cannot get the 12 volts to come through to this thing. So I think the 12 volts is a duty cycle from the PCM. So then again, I think, am I fighting the computer here? Is it no doing it? So blow your head really. So I'm assuming I'm on the right sensors because I cannot see nothing else here. It would be the turbocharged pressure sensor, although they've got, I think they had they've got MAF sensor and map sensor, and then boost pressure sensor. But I'm running along that and it's checking out fine. I've got a power on the ground. I say to these. Let's start it up and see if it generates a signal. There it goes. I've still got boost pressure sensor 0, map sensor 56. See that in the multimeter. See, it's not quick enough. So there is a signal coming out of that thing. So let's disconnect that and see if the map sensor goes away as opposed to the boost pressure sensor. See, the map sensor never changed there at all. The boost pressure sensor remained at 0. Let's go back to our codes. So we've got that heater O2, air intake O2 and turbocharger. You can see that with it being unplugged, that must be its bias voltage coming through that pin. Plugged it. So we'll clear the DTCs. That one comes right back. And the code actually never changes when you clear the code with it unplugged or plugged in, which is worrying. It really is. So, my data. So the map sensor, wherever that is, it's reading boost pressure sensor. And I say to you, I can't change that. In fact, even see when you unplug the O2 sensor, this 1.89 volts always stays the same as well. Watch, I'll show you this. You can see that's now unplugged, the front O2 sensor. And you can see that 1.89 volts stays there. This car has flung me for a loop, I can tell you. So you see there our air intake sensor 2 and our air intake sensor 1. So air intake sensor 1 is within there, so you'll see that if I unplug that, I'll let you watch the screen. It jumps up, it goes -40. Then the fan comes on. And then if I take it and plug it back in, it goes to 15. Trouble codes. O2 throttle body airflow performance, air intake sensor 2 MAF, air intake sensor 1 turbocharger. So at this, I'm going to condemn that sensor along with that O2 sensor. Even though I'm trying a bypass test and it doesn't make sense, I think the computer's more clever than what I am. Let's just clear these DTCs. That one comes right back. And it has to be, that's the only multi-plug it's unplugged. See, that's giving map performance, no, unless there's another map sensor. 5 volt reference, 1, 2, 3 and 4 is all good. -40. Boost pressure sensor 0 volts. Try and plug it back in, see if that does anything. No difference. It's worrying. So after getting frustrated and cutting the wire, you can see then I cut pins 1 and 2. So one is a ground and the other is a 12 volt supply. And when we go down through the oxygen sensor down there, you can see on my heater side I have 11.28 ohms. That's perfect for a load. So I've discovered that I have a permanent ground, but I don't have a supply. So looking at this wiring diagram here, I'm sure it's red blue as the supply. I can only see like this side here. I've got black, purple, white. What's that? White, blue, then red, grey, then purple. Purple something or other. It's purple, blue. So I'll have to look at the wiring diagram. Right, after all that, and because the wiring diagram did not make sense, what the problem was, these two multi-plugs, even though they look entirely different, had been switched and one switched the other. What a stupid design. So that's into the boost pressure sensor, the map pressures. So we'll have purple, we'll have a grey, a white, and we'll have a black. And then into the other side, into those two sensors, we'll have purple, grey, white, and something else. What you see in the scan tool, the boost pressure sensor has never came back to life. But I'll show you the O2 sensor. The O2 sensor, there we go. It's now taking an amperage of half an amp, so that one's fixed. But what my theory here is, because these multi-plugs have been switched and 12 volts have been fed up him when he should only get 5, I think it's shorted the thing out. I would think so. So we're going to try another one of these pressure sensors, order it tomorrow. Simple mistake. Cheers. So I'm just checking this sensor out running along the wires. So that's a ground at this purple wire. Then the grey wire, you can see we've got a good 5 volts on the grey wire. The white wire, we've got 2.63 volts. Sorry about this. 2.63 volts, I would think that's the ambient temperature sensor. And then on another one, we've got a ground again. So I think that checks out fine. I think the reversing the multi-plugs. The reversal of the multi-plug has blew the thing. I'll just go back into our codes. We'll try one of these.